All right, guys, get ready to go fishing with Mitchell out on Lake Simcoe. You guys ready? Yeah! And we're out in the middle of the lake fishing with Mitchell. There's little towns of huts out here. Very hard to see, but freaking awesome day. All the lines are in the water, minnows are happy. Come on, let's go. Here, fishy, fishy. Come on, there we go. Woohoo!
Good evening, and welcome to the Heikadelic Show. We would like to take this moment to let you know that viewer and listener discretion is strongly advised. So sit back, have yourself a nice cool drink or hot drink, and enjoy the show. And welcome once again to the Heikadelic Show.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Excellent. Ready to rock and roll into another week.
Yes. And look at that. We have one of our fabulous viewers here says, "No way," because she watched the intro of the show.
Yeah, like, it's ever changing, right?
And we're that good. I love it. So what's new with you boys?
I've been shoveling snow today.
Really? Imagine that.
No, how did that happen?
It's February in Canada. That's the way it happens, man. You should get to shovel snow.
Well, it was wet snow. It was heavy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I got a $50 ticket this morning.
Oh, so, no, why? What for?
Yeah, well, I guess they were trying to plow the snow or something, and yeah, I was... didn't want to plow around me, or they were ticked off with it. So, but it's okay. My bad. You know, I just, yeah, I should have just, I didn't know it was going to snow though. Honestly, I didn't know.
What did you do? Just
parked on the road?
Parked on the road. I just, yeah.
Where else are you going to park?
Well,
thanks, Richard. We think you're great too. Haha.
Hey, Richard. So actually, just want to say hi to our Indie Rock Radio friends in Montreal.
Yes.
And apologize for the rough entry to our show, but, you know, we're not DJs after all. But except for,
well, one of us are.
Yeah.
I used to be.
The guy right up here.
Used to be one. I've not been one for a while now.
I'm sure you're pretty damn good at it still.
It's not mine. It's not my record. Yeah. So, yeah, George might be doing something over on Indie there shortly. So,
yeah, that would be awesome.
Talking to DJs.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I could just picture it.
I still remember how to do that. Play the banana splits.
And you're so damn good at it.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, I know, eh?
Yeah.
So we're in the red now out in our area, so that's good. So that's controlled. So, you know, there'll be limits in places. Yep. Toronto is still in gray area, I understand, which stretches out to Scarborough. So it's, you know, that's still lockdown, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's something interesting about that, though. Okay.
Okay.
I got to say it before I forget. So, I was driving down the 401, and I started to head west towards Toronto, and it was a traffic jam at, what time was it now? Around 7:00 on Saturday night. So
Saturday night. Yep. Okay.
It looked to me like it was like a blue, like a either a Leaf game or a Blue Jays game, like because Saturday night, yeah, people head into the city, but massive hordes of cars head into the city on game night. Other than that, it's pretty smooth sailing, but I figured it out, and not accusing anybody of anything, but I just wonder if those hundreds of thousands of cars that were heading back to West Toronto or to Toronto were shopping at the OC in Oshawa. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They're on lockdown. Let's go next door.
Well, it's true. That happens when an area opens up. Everybody flocks to it, if they're from there or not. It's hilarious.
We don't want your germs out here. Stay at home. Stay at home. That's all there is to it. So.
Well, we went and enjoyed ourselves today. My wife and my best friend, we went out ice fishing at Mitchell's today.
Yeah.
Freaking amazing. We had such a great time, and it was so nice to have them up as a sponsor, but I'd like to put it out there. I know there's only about 3 weeks of ice fishing left, but if anybody's into it and wants to go, they are the place to go. Look them up online, Mitchell's Fish Huts. If you go to our sponsor page, they're on there. If you click on them, it goes directly to their webpage where all the information is. And funny enough, I met a guy from the ministry, right?
Did they come knocking on your door?
No, not out on the ice today. I met him the other day where I was at working at the house, and we were just chatting about ice fishing because he likes to go too, right?
Yeah.
And he asked me where I went, and I said Mitchell's, and he looked at me and he goes, "One of the best places to go on Lake Simcoe." And this is from a ministry guy.
Yeah, and they've been in business for what, almost 40 years now, right?
Yeah. They their huts are clean, their vehicles are clean, they're safe. Like, I trust these guys, right? And we've tried a lot of other places. I'm not going to knock anybody, but they're our favorite as well, and we love supporting them. We love going out. I'm going out 3 times this week. I went today, I'm going Wednesday, and I'm going Friday again too.
Wow, that's awesome. And it's a pretty good deal. I was on their site, and it for what you get your bait and everything for a pretty cool price. So
they take you out at 7:00 in the morning. They drive you all the way out to a hut. The huts have got heat in them, everything. They're big. And what they do is they put about 5 or 6 huts in a row, like a street. And there's also an outhouse there. So there's facilities. They give you tons of bait. Everything's included. And they pick you up around 4:00 type stuff. And it's $50.
You get your bait, your heat, all that stuff in a bundle,
how can you go wrong, man?
Well, I mean, the better deal you're going to get is, I'm a pretty hot guy and I really don't cost anything. But yeah, we should snuggle sometime. Hey, speaking of snuggling, okay? Speaking of snuggling, do you know what? Okay, I didn't know this, but a friend of a friend, of course. But anyways, there's an actual business. Maybe we talked about this one time, where people will sell themselves.
It's not we did.
But it's like a snuggle partner, right? So you can hire somebody to snuggle with you. So
there's no sex, no nothing.
No, sort of. It's ironic, but I'm trying to figure out, like, so if Heiko, he's alone for the weekend. I mean, if he calls me and he says, "Hey, buddy, Ringo, come on over. We'll have a couple of beers and snuggle." I mean,
we'll snuggle on the couch and watch a movie.
I'm not gonna lie. If you have the right brand of beer, it's just a little snuggle. But so
of course, my belly.
This lady I was talking to, she said, I'm gonna start my own snuggling business, and I said, yeah, okay. So what's a snuggling business? But there's a lot of, I guess, lonely people, and hire a snuggler.
I got in trouble for that, but I had one letter wrong. Mine was a smuggling business. So
The smuggler. Yeah. But, I still think it's a form of prostitution. In fact, I'm a musician and I feel like a prostitute most times, right? Playing in clubs for almost nothing. So it really doesn't matter what you're putting out. It really, is all the same business model. But anyway, I don't know how I got on the snuggling.
I don't know either.
You said you were snuggling warm in an ice hut. That's what.
Yeah, in an ice hut.
Right. Okay.
So I just want to throw. I don't know if Brad's listening, but he runs the show over there. Brad, thank you very much. We had an awesome day, and we'll see you on Wednesday. And anybody else wants to go ice fishing, look them up. They're the place to go. Mitchell's Fish Huts. Yes,
I love ice fishing. I mean, it's good.
It's a lot of fun, actually. If you're into fishing, like other people go, what the fuck? You sit in the hut out in the middle of the lake, and
Yeah, it's Stephanie goes spoony for two. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, thanks you.
Just a tuning. I want you tuning.
Well, I heard a story today, and that's the other thing about going out ice fishing. You're with a group of people, and the stories just start flying around, right?
Yeah, for sure.
There was two guys out ice fishing on the ice, not in a hut, and the one guy wasn't drinking because he's a DD, and the other guy slowly started to have a little bit of whiskey here and there. And as the day went on, he just got into it, and he just got completely wrecked, right? Mm-hmm. So he's sitting there, and he's got to go for a dump, right? He's out on the ice.
Oh no!
So his friend says, "Well, the shore is right over there. The bush is right there. Just go in the bush." So off he goes, right? Has his business, comes back, sits down. They finish their day, and then they get in the truck and they start driving home. And the heat's coming on in the truck. And all of a sudden, there's this stench in the truck,
exactly
a bad stench. Hey there, Brad's on. Awesome.
Hey, Brad.
Always a pleasure having you guys out. Thank you very much, man. So it's getting really bad. So the guy stops the truck, tells his buddy to get out because. He says, "You got shit on your boots or anything like that?" And the guy's like, he's really drunk. And he's like, no, I'm nothing, right? So they get out, and he turn around, right? He's looking for shit on his back or something because the smell is horrible.
Oh, no.
And there's nothing on him, right? And he's like, what the fuck did you do? Did you shit yourself or something? So long story short, what happened is when he went to shore to have a dump, it's on a bit of an incline, right?
Yeah.
So he just found a tree that was kind of like over. So he sat on the tree. But what he did is he took his coveralls off and he kind of put them in front of him because he didn't want to shit in his clothes, right?
Yeah, that's never good.
So he sits there and he squats back and he's having a dump, and they hit the snow and they rolled right into his coverall.
No.
So he didn't even know because he was so drunk, and he pulled his coveralls up and zipped them up, and off he went. So they took his coveralls off. He was covered head to toe in shit.
George looks like he's
Can you imagine?
a little queasy down there.
He said he was going to throw him in the back, but it was just way too cold, so he got him home as fast as he could to get the hell out of my truck.
You know what? Again, I've said this a bunch of times, like, with the situation at hand. So I would be I would have a little bit of trepidation if I had to go to the gray zones right now, because there aren't our washrooms, right? So
I know it's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, in red, it's not bad because it's controlled. So you go to the big, coffee chains and stuff, and you can get in. But it's a real problem. I mean,
it is. It really is.
Being an avid hunter from time to time, I mean, I carry around a roll and, kind of
Yeah.
hope for the best.
Yeah.
But you get into these serious hunting territories, there's actually outhouses miles apart that and the hunters keep them super clean, and it's amazing.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
up north by like Gogama and stuff like that. But yeah,
Well,
like
a lot
I mean,
of people are pulling over on the side of the road now. You see it
I know.
everywhere because
I know.
there's nowhere to go.
So
right?
what do you do, right? So I've got a pickup truck, and so in my box I carry a cherry bucket, right? And it's just a 23-liter pail with a seat on it. It's absolutely clean because this bag mechanism that I got from some camping supply store, and it's a garbage bag, and then it reduces into this really heavy duty Ziploc bag with like a chemical in it that dries everything out and deodorizes. So it's no muss, no fuss. But the only thing is, like, if I'm sitting out there on the side of the highway, you see this guy kind of naked from the waist down, sitting on a 23-liter pail, right?
Sitting on his tailgate having a dump, right?
Well, no, see, the benefit of owning a truck, though, and mine's jacked. I got a couple of extra leaf springs in the back just for fun.
Yeah, yours sits up pretty high, yeah.
It's up high. All I have to really do is get on the right side of traffic and then just open the door, and nobody's going to see what I'm doing, right? No, but that's the opportune time when the police are going to come by and they're going to say, "What the Hillary Duff are you doing?" Right? But so, did I say that out loud? Oh my God!
It's all good.
So this is the first time I've seen Ringo without a hat. I don't have a hat on?
No, it's not today.
It's not real hair. In fact, this is not my real face or body.
I'm looking at myself too, and I got these little wings happening here because I'm wearing toque all day. It's like, what the hell?
When we went out of red, I threw my mask on and went down to the hairdresser to get clipped, and I got rid of my unruly long hair that I had last week.
Yeah,
like kind of like George. See, George he's got great hair though. Like, I mean,
oh yeah.
Okay, I got. Okay, be honest, George. Do you dye your hair, or is it all natural?
It's all natural.
My God. So you probably
lucky guy, eh?
You probably don't have a worry in the world then, right? Like,
oh, that's right. Yeah, no.
Wow.
No, it's lots of gray there. Silver gray. There's lots in there. That's why I keep the lights down so it doesn't,
Yeah. Well, look at me, man. I'm the youngest guy here. Look at my hair.
Okay, I just got what Stephanie said here. Most guys hate the red zone. Oh, you mean COVID?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't take credit for this line, but I heard a great line. I'm going to start using it. Is like, when this is all over, it's all finished.
Yep.
I'm going to go out and we're going to get completely, utterly, totally sober.
Yeah. Why would you do something like that?
Yeah, I think.
Speaking of sober, George, you need to help me here. This is closed.
I don't think he actually got that, did he? I don't think he actually got.
Nice.
There you go. Cheers.
Cheers.
We're on there.
Cheers, everybody else too. Nice to have you on tonight. We love everybody. Let's have a drink together.
Sam, I'm going to try not to spill it this week like I did last week. Got to be more careful.
Don't spill it. It's a little dab.
Hey, play the tune, man. What's wrong with you?
I'm out of practice.
We should get Derek
to play
on the ball with it.
Oh,
cheers.
Well, and that's what you do with your ice fish too. You have a couple of drinks throughout the day.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
At least you're you're tuning in from at home, so that's good.
Do you want to come out ice fishing?
Who? George?
You.
George
you guys.
George, you and I will go.
You guys want to go?
Fishing.
Well, not at the moment, no. No, it's coming. I'm a city boy.
There's like 3 weeks left. 3 weeks left.
No, he's on He's on lockdown. He can't leave.
Oh,
Sorry.
I'm in solitary. I'm locked down.
we got 3 weeks left to have fun, man. March 15th, it's done. So let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, next thing I'll be phoning that snuggle line. Who knows? You know what I mean?
He's gonna.
Yeah. Let's go snuggle in an ice hut. Jesus.
I have a lovely backside here for you.
Yeah, that's what all the ladies say too.
Andrews in the Atomic Ballroom backside.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell's that?
It's a backside.
Someone doing gymnastics.
Wow. She's
turning
hot.
the TV on. That's not a she, that's a he.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I need.
Oh
need
my
some
God.
glasses.
Oh yeah, you need glasses, buddy. Holy
It's
crap.
Eric. No,
It's a backside on a backside.
it is too.
Yeah.
What's the channel switching there on a TV? And it looks like that. Oh, I get it. He's watching the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
It is. Oh, it's
See, that's
changing the
funny.
channel.
A lot of the younger people now look at that and go, "What's he touching? That
right.
can't be a TV. TVs don't look like that."
Yeah. But that's anyone got any ideas? Obviously on Indie Rock Radio, people won't have seen that, but this is so okay.
That's right.
So,
Indie Rock Radio, they're not doing the video part, just audio.
Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, so let's explain it to the Indie Rock Radio peeps out there.
What the hell are these guys talking about? It's like an album. It's somebody bending over and changing the channel on the TV set.
And it's the backside of a record album of a 12-inch LP, and everybody has to guess what the front side is, the name of the band, like the album.
Well, it's actually a solo album, but the guy is in a band as well.
Yeah,
is that the guy?
Is that Mick Jagger?
Oh, you can tell by his ass. Wow, Ringo, you're awesome.
It is Mick Jagger.
She's the boss.
No,
Jesus.
oh my God, look at that. He looks like he's about to go out to audition for a Maniac. What was that movie? Flashdance. Wow, that's a young Mick Jagger. Is it? Yeah.
That's his first solo album, 1985.
See how quick Ringo can be when. Yeah.
That's it. Right. Bodes well for the challenge later. We've got the challenge later. Scores stand at 9-6.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, we'll be doing that later. Fame. Was it Fame? Yeah. That had Maniac by.
Yeah, it was Fame. Yeah.
Right.
So for the indie rock listeners, we've really never explained what George does on his trivia. So he has an album and he does this backside. So you sort of got to guess the album. So you'll hold it up. So maybe what we'll try and do in the future is describe it for anyone who really.
If anyone wants to go with it, I usually put up a little promo on my Facebook page. So maybe
that's
put that on the Heikadelic show on as well.
So the indie rock listeners can go on your Facebook page, have a look at it,
and have a go at guessing the album.
Yeah.
You send it a few days in advance or midweek or something, so you have plenty of time to prepare for the answer. But I got that one.
Or if the indie rock listeners want to actually watch us for the period of time that we are live on Facebook.
That's
you can check out the Heikadelic show on Facebook, and you can be part of the action here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then when we're done, you just go back to listening like you normally do. That's very cool.
See when I picture indie rock radio and mon chums et Montreal, actually Montreal, I somehow picture them driving a truck and listening to indie rock radio, but indie rock radio is mostly, I guess, like internet or satellite or something. So you're probably at home, having a cold one. And I listen to indie rock on actually on Phil's show. I think it's like It's Friday or Saturday. I should know it by now because I listen to it on the weekends.
I think it's Saturday,
But
isn't it?
yeah, and he spins great classic rock. It's good
Yep.
stuff. So, and he's working on some great new projects as well. And I don't know if I can really talk about any of it right now, but we'll. It has to do with I guess doing some kind of streaming shows and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
this should be cool.
Well, when
We'll get him
Mr. Bling there is ready, we'll have him back on the show again, and he can tell everybody all about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
That'd be very cool.
he's been posting stuff on his Facebook. He's working on something. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
a studio. It kind of looks officey, but
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we got a surprise guest tonight. And it's someone who's been on the show before. And
Yes.
yeah, we're kind of happy to have him back because he's a very interesting dude. And done a lot. He's a photographer. He's done security for Metallica and various celebrities as well.
Yeah,
as
he's met some very interesting people.
yeah, and I think there's some connection to the royal family there.
The royal family and stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So I guess we'll have him on shortly, right?
we're gonna get him on. So I guess Richard, anytime you want to hit the green room, we'll pop you in, my friend. So oh, there's Mr. Phil there. Mr. Bling.
Nice.
Yes, you can talk about it. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll bring Phil on maybe even we have God Helmet coming on next week, and then I think we have Danny on after that, right? From Country
yeah?
Stop. So
Yep.
yeah, we can maybe
Well, we could bring Phil in as well. We can have one guy come in before the other, or we could all shoot the shit. Why not?
Yeah. Absolutely. So we'll set that up. But yeah, something that Phil's working on is there's a lot of virtual bands and obviously people streaming and doing live Facebook things and everything else. So now that's become a thing where bands are actually charging or promoters are charging to go to these online concerts. I think Kiss did something at New Year's, and but I actually attended one. We went to one on New Year's, and it was really cool.
Yeah,
You
were telling us. Yeah,
and you guys, we talked about it a few times. But so if you take that concept and you look at a soundstage kind of environment and you bring it, you sort of feed it over. It's pretty cool stuff. But yeah, so it's kind of a shopping mall or a virtual concert arrangement that you can go to over and over. And anyway, Phil will give you a little more on that topic. So
it's funny. I was just looking at my shirt. People, it kind of looks like America, but it's not. It's Americade. It's a bike trip I went on to Americade. They have it on once a year down in the States. I can't wait to do that kind of stuff again. This COVID messed a lot of that shit up, but can't wait to get on another bike trip.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah. Have you been down there?
Yeah, I've been down there. That's down by Albany, right?
Yeah, it's Lake George, I think it is.
Yeah, Lake George.
It's the lake it's on. And we rented a house right on the water, right on the lake, and you could walk right to the Americade.
Yeah,
very, very cool. Lots of fun. Good people down there. I like the Americans. They really have a love for bikers, believe it or not.
Yeah,
they treat us better down there than our own people on the roads treat us up here. Yeah. It's fantastic. It really is. They really make you feel at home.
And when you get to like Albany, New York, and stuff like that, there's the Dinosaur Biker Bar. I mean, everybody has a Harley out there, right? So it's a big deal.
I still don't understand why, but okay, it's good. It's a bike.
Oh yeah, right. That's right. You don't have a Harley. Forgot. So we're gonna get Richard to join us here.
Yeah.
All right.
Good evening.
All right.
There he is.
How's everyone doing tonight?
Very well.
Good. Cheers.
Cheers.
So
Cheers.
Are you in the NASA
Oh, look at that! Wow, you're prepared.
at the program,
That thing's as big as your head.
Richard?
I call this my Johnny preparation mug.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
You look like you're in
Ah,
the NASA control room, or maybe at SpaceX.
Dining
Hey,
room.
so, Heiko, I got a notice in my email today that there's a package coming for me tomorrow that I have to pay $2.30 duty on, or some kind of a U.S. thing. So I haven't ordered anything from the U.S. I'm thinking that's my satellite gear for Starlink.
oh man. Oh,
Yeah.
that would be so awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome.
So Richard, what you been up to?
Just day to day like everyone else. You know, I went to sleep, woke up. There's snow everywhere. I had to go shovel. And then
Yeah.
of course this afternoon after the shoveling's done, it rains and it melts it all away. And I'm like, of course.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what are you gonna do, right? I mean,
Yeah, it was
It's
pretty
winter.
frosty this evening.
We're
Yeah.
supposed to get snow. It's all good, man. It's
Well, you
I
want
didn't
it.
I didn't even
shits
know
and
we were
giggles
supposed to.
for everybody.
I didn't even know we were supposed to get snow though.
Yeah.
No?
That's what
No.
Ringo said. He got a ticket.
Yeah, I heard that. Better him than me, as they say.
That's
Yeah,
right.
what was that? They got snow down in Texas, and now they're totally screwed up
Yes.
down there.
Well, I have friends in Texas, and their infrastructure is not built to take it. It's
No.
a desert. It's a desert state,
Yep.
and so their piping, everything's not insulated like we have here,
Right.
and it's the just gone to hell.
Yeah,
Wow.
they don't even have power there or something either, right?
They don't
And
have
then-
Like
drinking
it's gone for a complete shit down there
Mhm.
because they got snow.
And did you hear about people trying to warm their houses with the exhaust from the cars? You see
What?
that
Are
was
you kidding?
Are
Yeah.
you kidding?
honestly, like it's not even like Facebook memes. Like legitimate news sources were covering this. That people were like they just didn't know what to do. So they okay, well we use the car to heat the house. I'm like,
Wow.
that's how bad it is down there.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
crazy in Texas.
I
Yeah.
think more people from Texas need to come up on vacation, come up to Canada. We'll teach you a couple of things about snow and how to keep warm.
Yeah. I mean, I got
Yeah.
a buddy who lives in Texas. He's a Canadian, and now he's probably American, but I guess he left about
Right.
2 years ago. And yeah, he knows how to deal with snow, but he said the same thing. He said his house isn't equipped. It wasn't built to deal with the cold. So there's
Wow.
pipe bursting and all that stuff, right?
Well,
But more and
I imagine in Texas they don't even have fireplaces in houses because it never gets cold, really, right?
Right, right.
So they're completely unprepared for this weather.
Yeah.
Well, it happened like I think 10 years ago in Texas, the same thing happened.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. and So they didn't really learn anything at that.
Apparently not.
10
I
years.
bet they're gonna have to look at things differently now, though. I mean, like
Well,
more and more places.
Yeah.
More places are getting snow that have never had snow before. Like Greece has had snow. Israel has had snow, and like Texas. I mean, things are changing. You got to kind of prepare.
Yep. Yep. You got to be ready for
Prepare.
stuff,
What
man.
you gotta do. Absolutely. And you know what? Whether it's a big disaster or your car breaking down, it's there's a lot of similarities. I mean, you gotta do some preparation. Like keep certain things in your car, like in the wintertime, things to keep you warm. And,
Did you see what Keisha wrote?
I say he's reading the comment that I just read.
snow is fake. I love it. Love it.
Really,
Wow.
really.
Some people in Texas believe it's a government conspiracy and the snow is fake. All right.
I'm not going to touch that. I'm just.
No,
No.
that's awesome.
But you know what? Some people are. I haven't been keeping track of it, but it was pretty devastating. And has anybody died as a result, or? I mean, it might. I'm sure.
I don't know.
No,
I didn't even look at any of those numbers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
So what's new with you? We had you on like half a year ago. So tell us something really cool and awesome that's happened, since then.
Unfortunately, there's been nothing cool and awesome. Everything's shut down. Now I shoot. I shoot models and bands, and this pandemic's really kind of put a harsh clamp down on all that.
Yeah.
so you're not shooting any models now? No.
There'd be no way. Like there's just
So you gotta. So if you're gonna do a model shoot, can I be like your security?
well, no. What I would do is have you as the official model snuggler for in between takes.
I'd be like a fluffer. I'd be the fluffer for the
God.
model.
And like, where's the snuggler? Where's the snuggler?
Right. We did.
2 feet.
She needs a sluggle. Come on, get him over here.
But I gotta ask a question if I can. So for this, you pick the album covers and everything.
Yeah.
I got a couple questions if you don't mind. One,
Sure.
do you just pick those randomly?
Just from my collection. Or what's
Yeah,
left.
like you just randomly just grab one. You don't. Like,
Yeah,
pick
I'll look through them and I'll go, oh yeah, I've got about 4 or 5 crates worth of them left still, and I'll just go through some of that looks, vaguely interesting and pick that one and put that on,
And the other thing I want to know, how many albums do you have?
Oh, not that many now, because obviously with different moves, I got rid of a lot, gave away a lot, swapped some with flea markets, gave away, but I used to have a massive collection. I had like a room full of albums and 12-inch singles at one time. But
So
now
would you say that's in the hundreds or the thousands or
probably touching a couple of thousand at least, I think.
Wow.
I mean, I've been, my first album I ever bought was 1967. So,
Jesus.
And I was on, as well as buying, I would, I became a vinyl junkie. I was like, I would, buy them, brand new albums, second-hand albums. And when I got into DJing, I was getting promo copies from labels. So it was just like this huge, back in the days when vinyl was on the go, I'd get home or, arrive, or the mail would come, and or the post, as we say over there. And there'd be like 3 or 4 like card envelopes, some would have like, big ones that have albums and 12-inch in, others that have the 45s in. I was on about 12, maybe more record labels that used to service me all the time. And then when I moved here in 87, I got myself on all the labels in Toronto. So I was on all there's like 7 major labels plus smaller labels. And I used to go around on Thursday and Friday of every week around the offices, and I'd pick up albums. And it just
that's
huge.
cool.
Wow, that's awesome. Like I thought I was doing good. I had at one time, I think the most was, I don't know, like 70 albums. I thought I was like rocking it then.
Yeah.
And then I slowly got rid of mine because I'm like, oh well, no one's ever going to want albums anymore.
Right.
And then now that we've gone through cassette tapes and all that other stuff, I miss. There's a certain quality. I just miss albums. Like
that's it. And
you drop that needle, and you get that static, just before it starts, and then it goes into whatever it is you're listening to. There's just that's missing on that's missing these days.
The sleeve itself, some of the artwork and the designs, double albums, they were just works of art. They were fantastic. Now you get nothing, right? You just
we had a buddy and myself, we set this up one time because it was always an argument because CDs came out, and everybody was raving, oh, CDs are the best, they're indestructible. So I always said there's no way a CD does not sound as good as an LP.
Yeah.
But that was the argument, and we actually did that one day. Is we got Aerosmith, we got their new CD when it came out, and we set it up so the album came on and the CD came on. We had them come on at roughly the same time, like within half a second, right? And we kept flicking back and forth between the CD and the LP. Yeah. And we played it quiet. We played it loud, really freaking loud. And you know what? To a person that's got audiophile type ears, there's no comparison. An
Right.
LP is much warmer, much smoother, much better sounding than anything that's digital like a CD.
Yeah, there's just something about that
Oh,
album. There's just something. You know, people can say, "Oh, well, you know, CDs are digitally mastered and blah blah." I don't care.
Yeah.
I just
No.
well, you know, I wish I could get a good record player going again and get the collection back that I had, and
Yeah.
you know, sit back, have a couple drinks, and just let the album, let them go.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's
And
great.
even like if you bought a new one, the smell of the print as you like got it, you know, and everything, it's just fantastic. You know?
Yeah, you take that cellophane off, and
it's away.
Absolutely.
You know what? I used to get a knife and I would cut the cellophane down the side and I would slide the album out, and I tried to keep the cellophane on them.
You were already
Really?
starting to collect.
Oh yeah,
right?
I was crazy like that. And then you know, it'd start ripping and stuff after a couple of years. So I went and I bought plastic sleeves to put all my albums in.
Nice.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I was so into it.
Yeah.
So George kind of like, I think George is such a collector, and he's such a like an aficionado on like everything about music that I think when microfiche came in, that recorded a lot of album stuff before the internet, of course, like microfiche, the things, it kind of made George a bit obsolete. So then, you know, he was able to collect on the side, and then, you know, but put them out of business, basically. Right? So,
Yeah, pretty much.
George, I think what they ought to do with George, you know, like he should be in a time, he should be put in a time capsule, or what was that? What was that movie where they had that? It was Eon Flux.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Movie. Okay, but you know how they had those?
Isn't she hot? Isn't she hot in that movie?
Yeah, for sure. She's just hot anytime. But they had that Zeppelin thing that would tour around the earth, and they had that guy up there, and he was like the archived.
Yes.
So George, we should get you up in
we're going to set you up in a Zeppelin, and you can be the archive.
Our you know, music history. George has pretty much retained everything. He's like the guru. So
well, essentially, it's like my boys when they were growing up, when that movie came out with John Cusack. Was it called Heikadelic, where it's set in a record store?
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you know? It said like, "Dad, that is so you." You know, I was that guy. Just like, you know, track this. What year did it come out? What label was it on? I used to play a game with a friend of mine when I had a day job back in the 70s, and we had these chart books, right? I mean, we'd go, you know, just to, you know, challenge each other, and we go, I'm thinking of a song from 1965, you know, and you could ask questions like, is it male or female band, whatever, you know, British, American, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And you go, you know, you go, no, not American, and you'd have to guess what they were or whatever, and eventually you'd get the song right. So I used to go like, what label was it on? You know, and he'd go, you know, Mercury. He'd go, oh, that's blah, blah, Steve Miller. You know, oh, you know, okay, you win that one. Anyway, this went on for a while. I go, and then they go, that's it. No more effing labels for you. You don't ask that question. But you know, that's a dead giveaway. And then one day he said, he used to look in the book of like chart hit singles in the UK. And he goes, all right, he said, I've got one here for you, and you can ask me the label. Right. And he said, it's 1962. I said, there's an instrumentalist, but I got he said, guitar instrumental. He goes, yeah. I said, what label was it on then? He went, I can tell you because you're never going to get this. And he said, it's on Top Rank. And I went, Burt Weedon. And he's like, oh, that's it. Rip the book up. I'm not playing that again. But I don't know. It was just one of those useless talents I had. I could remember record labels till they went out. They no longer existed as such, right? But even like that's what I'm saying. Even looking at the label on a new release, and you know, some of the designs were fantastic. You know.
Yes.
The good old days. The good old days.
I know, eh?
Enough of that. Yeah. We have a guest. Come on.
Yeah, Derek had a question, Richard, for you. That he asked, who is the nicest band or musician that you've ever worked for?
Yeah, I saw that. You know, like honestly, there are a few that really stand out. Like I was so lucky meeting all the different people that I did and traveling across Canada. If you want to go, like, the nicest people or bands, right at the top, bar none, BB King.
Oh wow.
I had the privilege of working with BB King. Like, I'm a rock and roll guy, but I appreciate music from all genres. Good music's good music.
Absolutely.
And I got a chance to work with BB King a number of times, and he was just the most perfect gentleman. Everything was please and thank you, and instead of, I mean, the man's a legend, right? Like, even when he was living, he was a legend. There's no question. And he was like, "Oh, is it okay if we do this? Or do you mind if we do that?" I'm like, "You're BB King. We'll do whatever. Why are you asking? We'll do whatever you want. I don't care. Like, I'm trying to be, straight faced and professional, but inside I'm like, oh my god, I mean, that's BB King. I'm talking with BB King, and I get to spend like a lot of a significant amount of time with the guy, and he was just super polite. It was unbelievable. James Brown, he was the same way. James Brown, absolutely. Yeah, James Brown, complete gentleman. Every time that I got to see him, even behind the scenes when no one's around. And James Brown was fantastic. Man, there's a lot. You two are all, they're all really nice guys, all very friendly.
So,
did you ever get autographs and things like that, or was that not?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, obviously it is frowned upon. Like I was there in a security capacity. I was there to make sure they were safe. I wasn't there to collect pictures and autographs and such. Right. But like, I started off doing the worst of the worst stuff that no one else wanted to do, and because I just want to learn everything from the bottom up. Right. And so as a result of always being respectful to people, and I found that a lot of the celebrities, whether it was music, film, whatever, if you talk to them like regular people, like, we're all talking to each other here.
Yes.
They loved it. They absolutely loved it.
Absolutely.
Like, you get a band that's touring for 8 months, and then their life is hotel, travel, press conferences, et cetera, and they get a chance to have a real conversation and just talk about regular stuff. Yeah, a lot of people just loved that.
Yeah.
And so I got to meet some great people, like, say, U2, James Brown, BB King.
What I was going to say to you too is we've had you on before. Other people know who you are, but for the new listeners and for all our new friends out in Montreal, what did you do for a living? Like
I spent 15 years doing concert security and bodyguard work. So I traveled all over Canada, all the biggest names in the world. I worked a lot of the biggest events here in Ontario. Like, I used to work the Toronto Film Festival. I worked Canada's Walk of Fame. I worked with the Molson Indy drivers when they came in for the what do they call the race now? It used to be the Molson Grand Prix, and then it changed, right?
Indy. It was Molson Indy.
Molson Indy, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So used to work that, and just so. Yes, I did, Derek. Yes, I did. It was the most nerve-wracking experience of my life, actually. And here's the thing. So it was after a show at Massey Hall. Right. Amazing venue. My favorite venue in all of Canada.
It is a great venue. I've been there myself.
Right. Amazing natural acoustics, everything.
Yeah.
So after a show, sitting backstage with BB, and he says, "Can you go get Lucille?" And I'm like, "Do what?" And obviously I'm going to do it because he's asked me to do it. But and it sounds silly, but everyone knows Lucille. If you know music, you know who Lucille is.
Yeah.
Right.
And so here I am thinking, I'm going to trip. Someone's going to come around the corner and bump me. And, I can save, 1,000 orphans from burning building, but anyone's only going to remember me as the guy who dropped and broke Lucille, right? So I have this thing, and I'm shaking like a leaf. I'm like, please don't let anyone trip me. Please don't let anyone run. So yeah, I did get to touch Lucille, and I got to listen to him actually backstage in his dressing room. He played for a few hours playing stuff that he never ever plays on stage. So that was insane.
Right.
That was an insane
Wow.
treat.
That must have been cool.
So he'd be like something like
old blues.
Want to do me a little bit of favor?
Oh, listen to it.
That is really, really cool.
Well,
it's
that's super cool. That's like, yeah.
Well, the show was over, and he got everyone that wanted to wait in line to come up through the back hallway, and sign autographs for them. So everyone's out. Everyone's got their autographs. All the band and everyone's loaded out. Everyone's gone.
Right.
And he's like, do you mind if I just sit and play some music? I'm like, again, like you're BB King. You do whatever you want. Like, I'm happy just to be in the dressing room with this legendary.
You want to play some music? Yeah, do it.
Right. Like do I want to hear BB King 4 feet away from me?
Oh my
gee, that's
God.
that's a hard decision, right?
Yeah.
So he gets the guitar and he puts a slide on and he sits back in his chair and he closes his eyes and he just starts playing his old blues. And I didn't know it at the time, but after he was done, he was like, that was stuff that I learned way back when. He goes, I've never played it on stage. I've never recorded it. I never will, because I don't want someone to come along and try and, redo it themselves and ruin it.
Right.
So he just sat there and played this stuff that, like I say, never been played on a stage, never been recorded. And I was just like, oh my goodness. Like, I just, goosebumps. Just even now, just thinking about goosebumps. It was the most amazing, amazing musical experience. You could just,
see, and it's so funny that you say that about blues, because I was on a business trip once many years ago, and we were in Chicago. So, the boss and his guys are doing his stuff, and then the sales guy and myself, we hung out together, and we went out one night in Chicago. We went for dinner and walked around downtown and stuff like that. It started getting late. We didn't know where to go. We don't know the city at all. So we're trying to find a place to hang out, right? And it almost seemed like we started going the wrong way, because we're getting away from the busy touristy area where all the restaurants and bars were. And I'm walking along, and way off in the distance, I could hear music. And I go, hey, Tony, listen, I hear music. And he's like, what? And it was blues. So we started walking that way. We got closer and closer, and we got to this place. I kid you not, it must have been no wider than 3 lanes in a bowling alley. Like, it's just this narrow place with a big window that was covered up and an open door with this big, massive black man who was the bouncer standing like this in front of the door. He was massive.
Yeah.
So I got closer and closer, and I'm listening, and I'm going, oh my God, it was like real blues that I haven't heard on the radio or album. It was just like, it was so good, right? And I walked right up to the guy. He looked at me and he says, what do you want? I said, my God. I said, I've been walking ever since I heard this music. I absolutely love it. Like, can I go in? And he looked at me. It was weird, man. He looked at me and smiled, and he goes, right? And my buddy, he's looking at me like, what are you doing? I said, no, I got to go see this. And we walked into this bar, and I kid you not, my buddy Tony, he was Portuguese, so he had kind of like light brown skin, but I'm a white guy. We were the only 2 in that place that were a light-skinned people. Like, holy shit. But I just walked in, I sat down, and what an experience. I watched 4 different bands play that night, and wound up dancing with all the chicks that were there, and I bought all of their CDs and took them home, because I haven't heard music like that live ever. It was wonderful. And that's my experience with the blues, like just the real shit, right? Downtown Chicago. Like, it was awesome.
Well, I was in Chicago, I guess about 3 years ago. And I was actually there quite a lot. But I went to just trying to think of the name of it, but it's a popular blues club, but they just, you know, like they'll forget about a set. A band will come in, set up, do 2 or 3 sets. They'll leave. Another band will come in and do, you know, 3 sets. And
well, that's it. I was there all night, and I heard 4 bands play. It was awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we're talking about unique sounds, for myself only, like I'll reiterate that, you know, for myself, you know, there's a certain sound. There's something about listening to an album, but there's also something about listening to music live versus, you know, sitting at home and hear on the radio or on a CD.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm live music all day. Like,
yeah.
I'm just like you. If I would have heard that same thing, I would go find a source and just, you know, sit down and listen and enjoy. Right? Like,
yeah.
You could love how music brings people together like that.
It does.
Yeah, I was actually spinning the MCM album the other day, and the boys have been talking about,
Who are they? Who's MCM?
That band. Yeah, that band. But they're getting really nervous. Jason called me. He's like, Ringo, we gotta like get the band going. You know, like you're kind of the leader. Get them motivated. You know, and Phil lives out in the boonies, and Phil's Phil. He's like, I said, guys, just let, you know, he's gonna want to wait till all the restrictions are down, and, you know, just because there are a lot of people taking chances right now, and it's, I mean, you're not supposed to be, so you know, everybody's itching to get out there and jam and stuff. But it's funny, I was listening to the album and thinking about all of the tracks that we did, and because, you know, I've got, you know, Voice of an Angel and stuff like that. I just,
here we go.
I do my own backups, right? And it's
so
really
modest.
No, it's one take, right? Phil was always amazed by that, and I'm like, hey, I hear voices in my head, so it's like not a problem. But I was listening to it, and I'm thinking to myself, holy smokes, like I don't remember doing that, like, and live, because, you know, when you're doing stuff live, and it's your own stuff, you can twist it around a little bit, right? And Derek, Derek over there can appreciate it, because, like, I mean, his band, he plays some pretty wild music, but I just I think Richard's right, like the live experience versus album are 2 different things. But I do prefer oh my god, I can't even talk. Yeah, I prefer vinyl over anything else.
Yes, good man. Good man.
I'll just read that Derek says he's glad that BB King was so awesome. I'd like to ask Richard, did you ever find anybody that was difficult to kind of get and handle? Without naming names, you can drop a few clues, but was that give you a hard time?
Yeah, there was there is 1 or 2 difficult people you could you could say.
Hugh from Headstones.
Actually, you know what? I never did any of their shows. The only Headstones I ever did was when I shot at the music hall.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And that last Headstones one, it was packed, and
it was a damn good show.
I was slinging.
But it's odd that I haven't met them, because over that 15-year period, like, honestly, anyone that I ever wanted to meet, I met them.
Yeah.
You know, I worked with them. I hung out with them. I met them at, you know, industry events, or you know.
So Derek's saying, what about Madonna?
I worked with Madonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Absolutely.
How is she? I mean, you hear all these stories about how crazy she is, and
she runs a tight ship.
I bet.
Would I say, you know, anything excessive? No, but I got to, you know, be in the Air Canada Centre, right in front of the stage while she's there, you know, and they're going over the routines and everything, and making sure that the choreography goes with the music, and that the set changes and everything, the wardrobe changes are going to go well. She's on it. She's involved with everything, and she's where she is for a reason. She's earned it. She's worked for it.
So you work security for her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Right on.
actually had she was the first person, if I got this right, she was the first person, to my knowledge, the only person ever to use the Leafs dressing room as her own as her own room.
Her
Wow.
yeah, green room. Yeah.
I guess
because the Leafs,
she liked the jock smell in there, I guess, eh?
well,
No,
they
allowed.
have. I mean, if you had a chance to get backstage at the Air Canada Center and see what the Leafs setup is, it's pretty impressive. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she had like I think it was five or six, but anyways, she had like a 5 wristband system. So each wristband allowed you in a little closer to where she was going to be. And with one time it was just her. Another time it was her and her kids. Another time it was her and Guy Ritchie and the kids. And she was very particular about who had access to where she was going to be, or her and the family was going to be.
Yeah.
And everyone that worked for her, they knew and they respected that. If you only had wristbands for this particular area, you don't try for a second to go into another area. It didn't happen. It was good. It was good to see.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and the ACC is pretty amazing. I used to host a box right next to the NHL box, and I remember one night the tab was like 15 grand, just in food and booze. $1,000. I think it was $1,000 for a couple of trays of hot dogs. Crazy.
Oh wow!
But
it's pretty expensive. Even just a beer is like what, $12 for a beer or something like that. Like
when you're in the box,
it's more now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had these servers that would, they'd be dedicated to your box, and they'd wear like a what do you call them? Like a stewardess, right? Or steward.
Right.
Very
your own server. Yeah.
Yeah. Very top shelf. I really liked it, but yeah, it was just crazy.
Comes at a premium. Yep.
Absolutely. So what about
That's a heck of a tab.
Prince? Have you ever worked with Prince?
Oh my goodness, yes. I was surprised. I mean,
Prince. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's
really?
awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And he was okay. First of all, the biggest thing with him was I couldn't believe how short the man was.
Oh, Prince is short. Okay.
He was, man. You'd have to look it up, but I swear he was 5 feet tall. He was the tiniest dude, and he was very soft. He was very soft spoken, but he was polite as well.
Yeah.
And his whole crew was really nice, and I got to see him do big stage shows at the Air Canada Center. That was great.
Yeah.
And who was it? I think it was Natalie Furtado.
Nelly Furtado.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Nelly Furtado. Yeah. I think it was her that opened for him, and I'm standing where I can just see the stage from the back, because I enjoyed her music at the time, and getting to meet her. I'd worked with her before at Massey Hall, so getting to work with her in Prince at Air Canada Center was cool.
Yeah.
And then Prince just comes walking up, and he's like, "Hey, mind if I hang here for a second?" I'm like, "No, like
do what you want, pal."
so he's sitting there, and all of a sudden he starts dancing, and he's like, "Isn't she amazing? I love her voice. Like, she's just fantastic." And he sat there for almost all of her show, like just clapping and dancing and just enjoying.
Well, it's like he was at the concert, right?
Right. And to see someone of his caliber just sitting there, and like a couple of people from up in the stands noticed that he was there, and he's like, "Nope, sorry, I'm watching the show. Like, this is her time," and he wanted to make sure it was all it was all about her. And
it's
pretty amazing. Like, he's probably pretty down to earth guy. I mean, I can't say I've ever met him, but like that would be, I just watched a documentary on him, and he he moved from his record label and he started doing his own thing, and then he made this comeback virtually himself. He was producing, he was sending out his own CDs and everything, and just kind of rebuilt his brand. So
if you ever just hear his guitar, like, just forget the vocals. If you ever just hear this man play guitar, he was skilled.
oh yeah,
Really?
Like, seriously, like I had seen. I mean, back in the '80s. I mean, everyone knows Purple Rain, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone knows all that stuff. And I've seen the videos in the '80s and stuff. But then when I got to work with him at Massey Hall, and he was doing a sound check, and he's just sitting there playing guitars. Like, I never appreciated until that time, like, just how talented he really was with the guitar, and I'd always just associated with him with the vocals.
yeah. Oh yeah, he played with a lot of feel, and he could rip a solo like no tomorrow. So
Well, it's funny.
That's really cool.
Like my wife, Mrs. George, Liz. I mean, she's got her musical tastes and that. Very different from mine. But she likes a lot of stuff. We've been to a lot of concerts together, and I wonder why I bought 2 tickets on the way. On the way to go, well, I should just gone on my own. But she went to see Prince in, I think it was 2005, and it was that tour he did where he was actually giving his album away. If you bought a ticket for the show, you got his new album. And to this day,
nice.
Yeah, and if you ask her to this day, and she's like all kinds of music, she's got favorites like Tom Petty, Rod Stewart, you name them. But she'll say the best concert she ever has been to live was Prince.
Wow.
She went with some people that she worked with at the restaurant, and she said, "Oh, if they're all going, I'll go anyway." You know what I mean? And she came back, and that was like 2005, 15, 16 years ago. Ask her today, best concert she's ever seen, Prince. So there you go.
He was very eccentric.
Like my wife to say that is great testimony. She does a lot of stuff. You know what I mean?
But he would do just random things, like when he did one of his shows at Massey Hall. For a little bit, a bunch of the audience was trying to go to the stage, and they were giving some of the ushers were giving a hard time and everything, and then out of nowhere he's like, you know what, you guys have been working really hard. He goes, I want all the ushers to come up on stage and dance with me. Wow. So he brought all the staff that was taking tickets and stuff. He just brought the whole crew of Massey Hall up on stage to dance with him, right? Like,
yeah. I'm surprised
it was something to see.
She's a big fan. But
the last time I was at Massey Hall, I saw Generation X. Oh my God. The acoustics in that place, and now you have these guys in there shredding guitars like that. It was
that the Steve Vai, Yngwie, and Joe Satriani?
Yeah, you got it.
I was there with those guys.
Five of them. Oh my God, what a show! So you were there with those guys too?
I was there. Got to hang out backstage with all of them. Yep.
Wow. Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, Massey Hall. Like, I love that place. I've seen some amazing shows, and just the natural acoustics in that place. If you're a music lover, if you're a music lover and you get a really good band in there, like I was in there with John Fogerty, and he put a throw rug down in the middle of the stage, a stool, a microphone, his guitar, and he just sat there, and it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. And then you got Neil Young in there, right? Same thing. Neil Young just has this big circle of guitars, and as he's playing, he just puts one down, picks another, picks another one up, and uses that. And Massey Hall was just the perfect venue for it. Like,
it's funny because I go way back now. I was young, but I remember this, and it was so cool. But I didn't know much about this. It was a guy my dad liked. He was actually a Russian singer. He did opera and everything. Ivan Rebrov. I don't know if you ever heard the name.
No.
Yeah. But if you look him up, he's one of the Guinness Book of World Records holders. He can actually sing 7 octaves.
Ouch.
Oh.
Yeah. So he would sing up hot like a woman, and then he would sing this bass shit. It was like, wow, I didn't know what he was saying because he was singing in Russian and in German, and he knows. I think he does a lot of languages too. But holy shit! Like hearing that in that building was pretty cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the acoustics there. Wow. Yeah.
So Derek says that Prince was a Jehovah Witness and would show up at people's houses.
Really?
Imagine getting a knock on the door and open up and seeing Prince standing there.
Yeah.
I know, eh?
Hey,
Hey, George, can you help me?
I can help you. Yeah.
Cheers, everybody. We got to have a drink.
What's that again? I'm almost out here, but it's, you know, when you mentioned Generation X, this shows you how old I am. It's because Billy Idol's band that he hit big with was called Generation X in like the 70s.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow. You know that? Well, and then I actually went to see them at a place called Rafters in Manchester, this club. And in those days, Rafters, as in like rafters. You know,
I heard of it. Yeah.
And he actually had red hair. His hair was red then. That's how, and that would have been 1977.
Oh, so you saw him in a club?
In a club, yeah. He was still in Generation X. Yeah.
So what about you guys? Have you guys ever seen bands in a club that went really big later?
Well, at my high school, I saw Rush.
Oh, right on, yeah.
Yeah, they played on stage in my frickin' high school.
Oh.
And I still have a 45 that they were giving out that day, and it's just like some off song that they did, right? Very cool. So that's my big one.
What about you, Johnny?
A few of them actually.
Or even just like a small venue, and then later on they're like selling out arenas and stuff. Like,
well, I saw in 1970. I've still got the poster here that I got from the Free Trade Hall in Manchester, and because I'm a big Who fan, but we won't go into that. But we won't get into that.
That was a bucket list. That was a bucket list band for me. I was so happy when I got to work with those guys. I was just like,
my favorite band of all time. Seen them so many times. But on the bill, but it was the Who. It was 1970. And I think it was March or something like that. And the support band was a band called, and I didn't know them at the time, called the James Gang.
Oh, the James Gang.
And the lead guitarist was some guy called Joe Walsh.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
What you doing? Great.
Hey, look, we're making Peter all weepy. Do you see that?
Yeah, poor guy. Hey, Pete.
Poor guy.
How you doing, buddy?
So, do you guys you guys know a bunch of the old venues in Toronto by chance, like the old RPM, like the old RPM,
RPM, yeah,
right, the old RPM, which part of it became the Warehouse later.
The Warehouse,
and, yeah, and it was there. I did Nickelback. It was their first show in Ontario, and it was. They sold out, but I think like half the tickets were comped. But then like shortly after that, they just exploded and selling arenas and everything. And then Green Day, same thing. I saw Green Day there. You know, got to work with them when they just were playing. You know, playing the RPM, and then next thing you know, Green Day just goes bam! Like they explode, become this massive band.
Yeah.
So you know the area in Toronto, like where all the bars were, like all the venues. You good with Toronto?
Well, you mentioned some of them. Like you mentioned the El Macombo. I was in there. I did the what was it called? I think it was the Running Back Through Canada tour with the Guess Who. You know, Randy Bachman, Burton Cummings, and all them. They played that. It was a tight fit for everyone. But man, what a cool venue! Like that place has insane history.
Yeah, I saw Nazareth there.
Oh
yeah,
I'm all right. You got me on that one. I'm jealous. You got me. Absolutely jealous on that one.
They were like a table right beside the stage, man. It was awesome.
I've seen
I've seen Nazareth a few times. So, well, actually, one of my favorite concerts was Nazareth in 1973 when they were just getting big in the UK. And I saw them again in 75. And then I saw them at the Hard Rock on Young Street.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Played upstairs where they used to have the live bands. That's just like this tiny little stage, you know. And then I can't remember. I saw them there. And the last time I saw them was up in Peterborough. You know, when they have the festival, or it used to be called the Festival of Lights out in
really?
And it was Nazareth. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I actually went in the afternoon when the sound check was on. I was just hanging around, like watching them on stage. It was great.
Yeah.
But Nazareth, brilliant band.
Oh, yeah, great, especially live.
Yeah, absolutely superb.
There's a place down by the harbor area in Toronto down there. You know, you have that harbor front road, you know, where the restaurant is and like the boat and all that.
Yeah.
And then
that was that restaurant you're talking about,
yeah?
Yeah, that was right down by the Western Harbor Castle. Yeah.
Yes. And then just east of that, couple blocks down, and you just sort of go off that road north, like one building, and there was it looked like a warehouse, but there was a bar there.
Oh, okay.
And they had no tables or chairs or nothing, and there was just a big open thing. There was two bars and a stage.
Just east of there. I think you're talking about the old RPM.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's where it is.
That's the bar. The first time I saw Volbeat, I saw them there.
Right. Yeah.
Nice.
You ever seen that band, Volbeat?
Oh yeah.
No?
I've seen it a few times.
Oh my God. Crazy. I love it.
I still can't believe how they got on tour with Slipknot. You know, that's a match made in heaven. But it was a great show anyway. So
yeah.
So I've seen you asked about bands that I saw that weren't famous yet. And definitely I Mother Earth. And when I was living up in Sudbury, they came up, used to play a bar called the I can't remember. I don't know. It was so long ago. But they come up there a bit, and then, you know, their stuff started to pick up. Our Lady Peace, another one. And April Wine.
Yeah. Right on.
There was Helix, but Helix was touring. Actually, they were touring their Rock You album or whatever it was called at the time. And I met them actually at the Sudbury Arena, and it was a funny connection because they actually were going to go out on a bigger tour, a U.S. tour, and so they came back to Sudbury to use one of the high school gyms as a rehearsal area. And it was funny because I partied with them a bit at the arena, and in actually in a smelly dressing room. But first thing Brian gets to Brian Vollmer, the singer, runs into one of my best friends up there and says, "Hey, you know so and so," and he goes, "Yeah, he's my best buddy," you know. And, so small world, but I kind of kept in touch. I'd gone to a show they played out in Pickering at the old strip club, or it's a strip club now. But they they disappeared for a while, and I ran into them at a pet shop because they were getting ready. That's what it was. I ran into them at Pickering Town Center at the pet shop, and they were
really?
How random was that?
Yeah, like the whole band though, right? And I'm like,
wow,
that's Brian Vollmer, right? That's Helix. So I walk up and I'm like, hey, Brian, what's up? And I think I was wearing a suit, so he probably thought I was a cop. But it was like, wow, it's been a while. So I said, hey, I partied with you about like 30 years ago.
Remember me?
No.
For that.
Oh man.
No, we stayed in touch. He was supposed to come on the show one time, and
So,
That's exactly
Richard, I have a question for you. Did you work with the Who? You said it was they were on your bucket list.
It was only once, and it was Air Canada Center, and because like I grew up, my father was really big into the 50s, 60s, 70s music, and
Right.
so I grew up listening to CCR, Beach
Yep.
Boys, Eagles, Pink Floyd, da 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 da,
Yeah.
and so then as I got into this industry and got to work with bigger and bigger names and travel, just getting to meet these people. Like I had like a bucket list of before I die, I got to meet these people, and obviously the Who is up there. And then I got called to their Canada Center last minute, and I didn't even know who it was I was working for. No pun intended. And I walk in and one of the guys is like, "You're going straight backstage, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You lucky son of a bitch." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, you've seen me a million times with a million different bands. Like, what's so special?" And then, of course, I see the first, like, on the wall, they'd have a sheet with all, like, a copy of all the passes, so you know, like, which pass can go to what area, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And then I see who it is. I'm like, "Oh shit!"
Nice.
So yeah, that was one of my bucket list bands to either just meet or work with. Same thing with Fogerty. I was a huge Fogerty fan, so getting to sit and just talk with him about music at Massey Hall, that was just
Nice.
I saw Fogerty at Massey Hall.
Did you?
In 2004, I think.
It was early 2000s. Yep.
I've got the poster because you can buy a poster and it actually says Massey Hall on it. John Fogerty, and he's riding his Harley or whatever he's got on the poster.
So when he was sitting on the stage,
Yeah.
I was just to the left of him.
Wow.
Oh,
For the, so talk about your good seats, right? Like
Yeah.
absolutely.
Wow.
yeah. So Fogerty was one of those. Unfortunately, never got to work with the Beatles, obviously, because some of them aren't here. But I got to meet McCartney, so that was cool.
Yeah.
Couple of the Beach Boys, the Eagles.
What about like Van Halen?
Oh yes, I get to work Van Halen with Sammy, and I get to work Van Halen with David Lee Roth.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
So I got the best. I got the best of both.
So you got both. Both.
last-
the best of both.
You talked about Metallica.
Oh yes, did a lot of shows with Metallica, and those guys, they were fun, man. Like there were some bands that you walk around backstage and you're tiptoeing, you have to be absolutely quiet, and you can't do this, you can't do that. And then you got Metallica, and Lars would go walking by, be like, "Hey man, what's up?" It just, and that would be to anybody. There was artists that wouldn't talk to anyone unless they were the manager, or if they didn't have to talk to you, you didn't exist. And then you have the bands where they'd sit and talk to everybody. Didn't
they're
matter.
just cool, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're working, hey man, how you doing? What's going on? Like,
What about Motley Crue?
Yes, got to work with Motley Crue a number of times. Actually, Motley Crue, they did a show with Aerosmith, and Tommy Lee was a huge Aerosmith fan, and it was his birthday on this particular night. And something that's never happened in the history of Aerosmith was that no one has ever sat in on drums for Aerosmith. But because it was his birthday, it was his wish, his birthday wish, his life, his bucket list. I want to play drums for Aerosmith, and they let him do it.
Really?
So Motley Crue and Aerosmith at the Air Canada Center, and Steve Tyler's like, Tommy, get the fuck out of here, man! Like, and so Tommy came out, and he didn't know, so he comes out and he's freaking out, and he's looking around, and he gets behind the drums, and he didn't stop smiling the whole time, like So afterwards, he's like, my face is hurting from grinning so long, right?
Yeah.
But I mean,
I'm a super huge Motley Crue fan, especially like I really dig Nikki Sixx because of his creativity and everything. Long before that movie came out, but it's when I went to LA about I guess almost 4 years ago now, or 3 years ago. I went to the Rainbow, right? And if you watch the movie, they got signed in the Rainbow by was it Elektra Records or whatever. But the booths back then are the same booths they have today. Like, I mean, it's like walking back in time. And
That must have been really cool.
oh, it's super cool because I was sitting actually in the one that the Stones were in. That uh oh, what's his name? Well, it wasn't McGregor. Oh my gosh, Keith Richards passed out in, and there's a picture. I think it was in it's just some famous photographer. It's a famous shot of him kind of sprawled out in the booth, just wiped right out. And I sat in that exact spot, but that bench was like right next to the one where allegedly Motley Crue got signed. And a lot of people got signed at the Rainbow, right? Like, I mean, or they partied at the Rainbow after getting signed. So, but good times.
Did I not just see something about you in California with LA Inc?
Yeah, I was at these
right.
Yeah, when I was actually the same time when I was in LA, I went down to check it out.
See, I found it by accident, but I thought the same thing you did. I'd seen the show, and then I was walking by me and a guy that I was actually training for bodyguard work, and we went down to California for a little break. We had worked like it was like 30 days straight or something. So like, fuck it, let's go to LA for a while. So we jumped down to LA, and we were just walking down the street and found it by accident. And we went in, and the same thing as you. I was like, I thought this was a lot bigger. Like.
Yeah. No, it does look bigger on the show, and most do. Like, I was down at the Pawn Stars shop in Vegas last year, and it's different perspective when you're watching it on TV. I went to which everybody does when they go to Vegas to counting cars as well, right? Or
or
the count customs, but yeah, like in LA though, I went down there. It's funny because before I left for LA, I sent Nikki. There was an opportunity that came up that we sort of missed out on, and like when he was playing with 6 Sense and he was moving across like Canada, there's this chicken wing place in Oshawa. What is it? The Big Buffalo Wings or whatever, Wild Buffalo Wing?
Buffalo Wild Wing.
Buffalo Wild Wing. So anyway, the bartender was playing. He used to, I gave him a CD and he was playing our stuff, and it was I guess they sent a crew ahead of the band to scope out the GM Center and all that stuff, and it was kind of like they were looking for opening acts. So they had, I think, Papa Roach and stuff like that, but they were going to put another band on. And so it just so happened that like I randomly went in there that night, and the two road a production, one was a guy like production manager or something like that, but their job was to go out and scope out these venues. And anyway, so I guess they were playing this stuff, and the guy said, hey, so the bartender sort of hooked us up, and we got talking and stuff like that. And he goes, wow, he says, the tunes are pretty cool. You know, we could have got you on. We were looking for an opening act. And so I was like, shit. Yeah, that would have been so awesome. But then he goes like, he takes my information, and that
was my next question right there. Did he get your info?
Yeah, he did actually. And he goes, listen, if Nikki digs your stuff, he says, which he said he was pretty confident he might, but he says, well, look, he'll probably call you directly. I said, wait a minute. Are you telling me that I'm going to get a phone call from Nikki Sixx? And he's like, yeah. He says, it's just the way he does things, right? He's got like a short list of bands he works with, and and he said he might call you and just give you advice and move on, right? But if he's interested, So here's the thing. Doesn't my fucking cell phone all of a sudden Apple does some stupid ass update and locks out my phone for like 2 days, right?
No.
No call.
He called.
No, he didn't. I don't think.
Oh, okay.
Like there was no message, but then I would think if Nikki Six called, he's not going to say, "Hey, listen,
It's Nikki.
I know I got your voicemail, but this is Nikki Six. Like you to call me back." Like no. So either of these guys were like jerking my chain, which I wasn't sure, or otherwise, right? But yeah. So the one guy was he put on the FIFA games, so some kind of like a big production,
Cool.
yeah. But that was okay. So Nikki Six is going to call me on my phone. That would have been like life changing for me in a lot of ways.
Would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, like hi, who? Nikki Six? You? It's not Nikki Six. What? Right? The rock star moment. So, but yeah, I love those guys. I mean, they definitely were terrorized the road and stuff like that, touring in that. But awesome band.
Oh, they're great, and they're so good live.
Yeah. Well, I've got tickets for their show, right? And they're still they haven't reimbursed or anything because they're planning on just bumping the show. So it's for New York, and it was supposed to be, I guess, last fall, and now it's just getting bumped out. And that was with oh gosh, who was it with? Well, yeah, Motley Crue, Def Leppard, and
Oh wow,
so great show. Yeah, but
Def Leppard was one of the most impressive live bands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, yeah. They were the first time I got to work with them was Cops Coliseum, I want to say, in Hamilton.
Right.
I've seen them there. I went to see. I've seen them a few. I drove over for that.
And I get there in the afternoon, and I didn't realize they were already there. They get there early and they started rehearsing early and everything. So I just walk in, I go right to the floor, and they went. They were just starting Pour Some Sugar on Me, and I just like, damn. Like, like even though I'd already seen work with thousands of bands and stuff, like there's just certain things you hear that you're not expecting, and just makes you just sit back for a second and just appreciate the moment. And so the sound check went really well and everything, but then once they were on stage, I went to the back of the floor and took in like all the audience and the light, the light show coming off the stage and everything, and they were phenomenal. Like I just I was a fan of listening to them on the radio and tapes and everything when that Pour Some Sugar on Me dropped, and but just to hear that live, I just wasn't expecting it, and they were phenomenal. They just a great live show.
Yeah, it is. I've seen them a few times actually. At Cops Coliseum, and more recently, it's called the First Something Nation Centre now. But yeah, and it's small. It's it's still an arena, but it's smaller than the ACC, and it's just a great venue. And for a band, and they do put on a great show with lights, and all the tunes as well. Everyone's like
sing along with it.
The whole audience was rocking out. Like everyone's singing every song. Like everyone knew all the lyrics. Like it was like a big giant jam session type thing.
Really good. I mean, a lot of people don't rate Def Leppard, but I certainly do. I mean, I think they're great.
See, it's funny. We're listening to you and all the bands you've seen and been security for. It's incredible. Like, I had a chance to do a little bit of roadieing when I was younger, and I got to do some stuff for a couple of bands. And then normally the roadies would also be security along the front of the stage and stuff like that. So I got to do that a couple of times. I thought that was cool. But I'm listening to you, and you've been with like all the big bands in all the great venues. Like, it's holy crap. You must have really had a good time, right?
I probably should have stayed in a little longer.
Yeah.
But I mean, I grew up in the East Coast of Canada, a small town of like 1,500 people.
Right.
To find myself.
Dildo, Newfoundland, or
No, I grew up in a really small town called Hansport, Nova Scotia.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And like I say,
You're not on the island. Then.
50,
What was that?
50,
What was
What?
that called?
Hansport.
Ah,
Hansport, Hansport, Nova Scotia.
Isn't
When
that
it was an old
just south of?
shipbuilding town.
Isn't that just south of where the bridge goes over to PEI?
Oh,
Oh no, that's not just so. That's like halfway down the province.
Okay, because we stayed at a place, something port, right near their hands.
Oh, there's a gazillion ports in Nova
Okay.
Scotia.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you come from a small town and you have some of these experiences, and like the first time I got to work with the Stones, I just like
Yeah.
the sun, the moon, and the sun, the moon, and the stars align a certain way. Like, how did this happen? That I'm standing right here, and not even 2 feet away is Mick and Keith. Like, how does that even how does it even happen?
Yeah.
Like, and some of my friends, they see me on pay-per-view events for wrestling or something. They're at the local bar back home, and they're like, "Oh my god, that's Rich!" Like we.
Oh wow. So
he's standing right there. Look at him.
So okay, out of the band. Oh, sorry. Like
no, it's funny how things happen sometimes, because I lived in Ottawa for a while, and I was big into photography. So I had like a big hard camera case, with the strap over the shoulder, and I used to go around and just take pictures of stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't know Ottawa at all, and I'm driving around one night, and there's this big building with tons of cars there and lots of action, people around. I thought, oh, what's this?
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. So I strapped my camera over my shoulder, and I walked up to one of the big glass doors, and I was doing this. I was looking inside to see what was going on, right? And all of a sudden, this guy, he comes like, not running, but fast step. He comes marching over to the door and opens it, and he goes, "Get your ass in here. Come on, the show's going to start." And I'm like, okay. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about.
They thought you were media.
Yes. And they brought me right up, frickin' front stage center, Judas Priest.
Nice.
I
was, oh my God, it was awesome.
I've seen Priest about a dozen times. I just,
have you?
Yeah.
I saw them that one time. It was like, oh my God.
So I was trying to get Halford on the show, right? And Bling got him for Indie Rock Radio, and he goes, "Oh, if you want him on, I can get him on. We're buddies." So I definitely want to pick his brain sometime.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
But so Richard, you I guess it sounds like you've done wait, let me catch up with some of the
comments.
Some of the comments. So Peter, he loves the LA Link. Give a sob story and get a free tat. I think that's just for the for the show or the series that they did. And he's now playing tambourine. Okay. So and Derek's asking if you were ever part of the armed forces.
Yeah, I just want to talk about music and everything. Let's just focus on music.
Fair enough. One of the things
we'll do that another time, okay?
We'll definitely do that another time. Yeah. One of the things that Richard plugged me on was this Bill C-21.
Oh, I was wondering if you're gonna bring that up.
No, we don't have time to talk about it right now. And you know what? I did some research on it, and because it's changes in the bill that that are going to change things for law-abiding gun owners, and the big issue is that I think they're really trying to stamp out ARs and anything that looks like a automatic weapon, but it affects a lot, and so I think at this point, it's everybody's trying that might be impacted is really trying to understand, because non-gun owners, which I completely understand, won't understand a owner's side of it. It's more of a case of like, why do you have to have a gun, right? But anyway, it's going to be complicated, I think.
Mhm.
So that could be a whole other show. We don't normally get into politics, but I've read all of this stuff recently, and it has a
Yeah,
more
as soon as I saw that, I went through it and I read it and I was like, I gotta send this to Johnny.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
it's
he's
not.
been talking about it too because it does affect Johnny, right? Directly.
Absolutely
And
does.
it's a shame the way they just kind of do this kind of stuff randomly, and they just without thinking, they mess stuff up for people. And it's always the people like the hobby people, the collectors, the people that do everything legally, or the
It
people
seems
that do
very
it for
random. Like
sport and
this seems
fun. Yeah, it's
this
like,
really seems to have come out of nowhere. It's not like there's some major incident that's has to spawn this change, and it just seemed to out of nowhere. Poof! Here it is, and
I think that there's a lot of moving parts with this whole thing, and I as a gun owner, I feel that like there's two sides to it, right? Non-gun owners, and George is a non-gun owner, so we had a chat before the show, and he's like, "Well, I'm just a DJ, man." Like, what? It's not my gun. Like, so I completely understand that.
I used to have a lot of 45s.
Yeah,
it's close as I get to owning a gun.
Oh, there you go. But my I was a whatever like a semi-pro paintballer when I was younger, and then I got into milsim, which is airsoft, and so it's military simulation, short form milsim, and it's.
So do you prefer the airsoft over the paintball?
Oh, I totally love it. I love it. I happen to be fairly involved. I play a few big organized and safe games a year, and with a bunch of people. Like I guess the thing is that the ones who don't understand it, or let's say ignorant to the fact that there are sports out there that involve guns, right? And so but there's this sort of, I don't even want to call it a crossover, because the ones that are used for the airsoft community are a step away from, let's say, paintball guns in terms of their design. It's a game, right? But it's also a I call it, so if you're playing, let's say, Call of Duty at home, so a lot of these people who are probably going to support this bill have a kid locked up in the room playing Call of Duty all night long, right?
Right.
And the only difference there is that when I go out and do the same sort of thing with the same sort of airsoft.
Well, instead of it being virtual, you're actually doing it.
Yeah, so it's live action role playing, right? So there's a lot of thought put into making sure that it's military simulation, but it's also military spec, meaning that you gotta dress in the BDUs and do all that stuff, but the games are super safe, and it's
a very controlled environment, right?
It's a controlled environment, and it's a community, and there's a bit of a culture there. Great people, because in airsoft it's really on the honor system, because you're not going to leave a big blotchy piece of paint marking somebody. So it's but you know what? I think we'll just kind of defer it for another time. I think at this point, from my point of view, if they were to pass a bill, I probably have a lot to lose in terms of investment in the sport, and the fact that if I couldn't play it, and really what they want to do is it's complicated. It's very complicated, but I think it's about education, right? At the end of the day, I think the real issue is about dealing with crime. A lot of criminals, there may have been criminals out there who've been gun owners, registered gun owners, but it's not the registered gun owners that
are causing the
creating
problems.
No,
it's never been that. With all the gun laws and hunting and collectors, it's never the registered people that are a problem.
As far as my apologies, cut you off there.
Yeah.
No. I just don't understand why they're going after people that are doing this for entertainment or for sport or for whatever. It has nothing to do with crime.
Now,
There's people out there that spend their weekends or whatever, and they go and they're playing a game. It's entertainment, right? Technically, that's all it is. No one's getting hurt. It has nothing to do with society or whatever, but somehow they make this stupid fucking connection because it's a gun and it looks like a real gun and blah, blah. It's like, come on.
The only argument I ever heard that made any sense to me against the whole airsoft thing was from a police officer, and he's like, "Oh, if we're out in the street, and someone presents a gun, and they point it at us, we don't know if it's an airsoft gun or whatever. So from our standpoint, for safety's sake, for us, for our lives, to go back home to our families, if we see a gun and it looks real, to us, it's real until we know it's not."
Yeah. That's right.
And that's the only argument that I've ever heard against the airsoft that makes sense, because I've seen some that really are very realistic looking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to take that just one step further. Mm-hmm. So now you're some dude out there who has an airsoft gun and he's out in public or he's holding up a store or whatever the hell's going on, and the police are involved. And he has this weapon in his hand, right? They don't know if it's real or not. Well, you know what? He's a clueless freaking moron because he's out in public trying to rob a store with, it doesn't matter if it's a real gun, airsoft gun, toy gun, what. He's actually doing that, and whatever happens, happens. I'm a little bit of an idiot. I go, natural selection. The guy's a moron. He's out there. He's doing this.
You said it best right there. Natural selection.
Yeah. So stop punishing people that have nothing to do with the stupidity of a few. You know what I mean?
Jeff,
like there was a kid that got shot because he had a Nintendo pistol.
He's right. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
like the cops are protecting themselves. The kid's an idiot, right?
Okay, so as a gun owner and playing an airsoft sport, they're two different things, but
yes,
they visually look like the real deal. But I guess to me it's about education and maybe some other, because behind this, what seems to be a point of view is that, look, an automatic weapon or something that can load up a magazine of more than, let's say, 5 rounds could do a lot of damage in a crowd, right?
Yeah.
Well, so a bomb could as well. I mean, it's one of those things that, like, if you're going to commit a crime, if you don't have a gun, you're going to find another means to do it. What about biowarfare? I mean, there's a lot of things that if somebody's going to do something, they're going to do it no matter what. A gun,
what?
Right?
Yeah. You said this earlier about weapons. When people do shit, they hurt people and they try and stop it. I drive a car. What if I drive a car into a bus stop?
Right.
Well, look at the guy who rented that Home Depot truck and ran into the crowd of people.
Yeah. Are they going to ban everybody from driving cars now?
And somebody stole a tank last year and went through their neighborhood with it.
So you know what?
Oh, I didn't hear that one.
Yeah.
This is just stupid what they're doing. Like, honest to God, right?
But not just anyone is going to jump into a tank and know how to drive it though either.
No.
I'd love to.
It was in the U.S. So, I mean, they do some funny.
It was in the States.
Yeah. So, but like I'm a firm believer that most well, gun owners in general, if you're a registered gun owner, there are hoops you have to get through to get that, even with non-restricted, as a hunter, right? But having a dual sort of um, involvement, I've got hunting guns. I never call them weapons. I don't, in the airsoft stuff, I don't call weapons at all. I mean, I think our soft name is pew pews, right? Like it's like pew pew.
Yeah.
But it's really just a glorified version of tag, right? But the camaraderie and the friendships that are developed. I mean, put it this way, I I had my days where I liked golf when I was younger, but I love airsoft because it's strategic and tactical all at once. So love it when a plan comes together, and it's really about it's not about the the airsoft replica that you're using or airsoft pistol or rifle. It's about meeting objectives, right? In fact, if you compare airsoft to paintball is what we now call pray and spray, but it's gotten a little more strategic. With airsoft, it's about meeting your objectives with the least amount of firepower, right? And the bigger tournaments, they don't do full auto. Like they have a few, they have gunners that are allowed to do that, and but aside from that, it's like a single shot. Very, very safe, though. I mean, there's rules. There's really a lot of honor, a lot of integrity. Because if you don't have that in the airsoft community, you won't you won't be playing any of the real games and everything. But for me, it's kind of like two sides. Because again, if you're a licensed gun owner, it affects a few things. It's going to make some non-restricted, maybe restricted firearms and stuff like that. And here's where I guess if you never, like George can probably attest to this, but if you never had the experience to, let's say, use a gun at a target range, right? Or in some sort of a sport, or if you were a hunter, then you don't really understand it. And I can, I guess I can agree that must be an interesting place to be. So it makes this whole, position. And to your point, Richard, it came out of nowhere. And
yeah, like I said, it just seems really, right? It just seems really random. Like Trudeau just doesn't make a lot of sense with these gun laws, but it hasn't gone through. There's still time. If I read this right, there's still time for them to make changes so that paintball and the other one will be safe, but they haven't done it as of yet, right?
Right. Well, I mean, like take it back to like when we were all kids. How many, let's say males, and probably some females got like a Red Ryder BB gun when they were, I mean, they sold like, and that's kind of the start of possibly a love for guns. And it's not it's if you're thinking that you're using that gun to do harm, then you're not fit to even own one.
In today's society, honest to God, Ringo, I don't even think people understand what harm is or anything like that, because everybody's such a I don't even want to say it, but when we were kids, we would get old motorcycle helmets and put them on our head, and we get our BB guns and we go out in the forest and we frickin' shoot at each other.
Oh yeah, I know.
I'd like to say we didn't do that, but we did it.
No, we played war, like, and so you get dinged with a couple of pellets. Ow, it stung. You know what? It would be obscene to try and do that today with kids, because parents would completely lose their freaking minds.
Yeah,
right?
Growing up in the North, it was a rite of passage, right? The first thing you wanted to do And it didn't matter whether you were a male or female because we all wore bush jackets but it's definitely not a hick thing. It was something that, you know, outdoors and survival in terms of being outdoors meant, you learned how to use a gun at a very young age. And 15 was the age that you could actually get your hunting license, right? So,
See, a lot of it really. Sorry.
no,
Go ahead,
I was
Richard.
going to say if you took the the further north you get,
Yeah.
it's used to provide for food, right?
Yeah.
Inuits yeah. Anyway, so it's complicated, and I do understand, like, say, George's perspective on it.
Well,
Like, George is just a DJ. Which he's pleading the fifth.
I'm trying. My beer ran out about half an hour ago, but regardless of that,
Yeah.
Oh my God! You should be prepared.
Well, we were
some things. My dad was into guns. He was in the army, obviously, and he loved guns. His father was a gamekeeper, so as a kid, he used to take him out shooting. But this was, when he was a kid, and when the fair came round, he would be there, show me how good he was, shooting and all that. And I think we had I think it was a 177 air rifle.
Yeah.
It's coming back to me now. Yeah. And then, he got married again, and Roman, another son, and he actually bought him I think a 2.2, is it? It's 2 something in there. Again, a rifle, and he had a target range, at the back of the garage, and used to shoot. Yeah. So it's not like, but I grew up in a country where the police, as I mentioned before we came on air, the police didn't carry guns. You know what I mean? So guns just
the bobbies,
there's just, to me, guns were.
They carried the Billy Club.
You know what I mean? It's like I just couldn't associate with guns, and I grew up, as I said, to the guys.
And that's fair. Like, I mean, if you,
it was the 60s, and we got people putting flowers in the barrel of the National Guard's guns. We'd see pictures of that where they're poking flowers in. So guns, to me, I'm not saying they should be there. I'm not saying they shouldn't be there. It just, either way, go sort it out. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you're a gun owner and you're not, like, I'm on 35 acres, right? But I do have a neighbor that's close. I don't bring out guns on the property at all. Like, I mean, because I am of the opinion that they're not, like, they're this family, I don't, anyway, they're
story.
And I'm not sure, I'm sure they've seen guns, but it's not, I'm not going to bring it out. It would be terrifying, I think, for my neighbor to see it. Like, even one of the replicas, right?
I mean, I was looking at some of those guns, I told you, because I was looking into Bill C-21, whatever it is. And I tried to understand it, because again, Ringo said we're going to be, discussing this tonight. So I thought I'd look into sort of a few videos, and some of those, he had his guns on his settee there in the back. I thought those are pretty scary. You know what I mean? If someone pointed one of them at me, at the LCBO or something, I'd be, holy shit.
Back before there was airsoft, there was like with paintball, for instance. So paintball, my recollection, started with
okay,
so here's from a non-gun person. Here's a ridiculous question. A totally ridiculous question.
I just read Derek's comment.
Yeah.
Well, Derek made the best point of that. So, like, what do? Do we ban cars because of drunk drivers?
I've heard all that before, and I mean, really, honestly, if you want to be serious about this, you got to ignore comments like that.
Yeah,
they just don't hold water, right? I mean,
no.
So anyway, when I was looking at those guns, I mean, all right, it's a sport, so have the exact same, whatever it is, model AR, whatever they are, but have a color code on them, so they're like pink, or I don't know.
Well, no, that's a good point, George. So, like, when they get shipped,
and you can tell it's not a, it's a sport gun, not a,
you can buy pink versions of them, but when they actually get shipped, the barrels at the end of the barrel on, say, a handgun or replica has like an orange ring around it, and some of the rifles do, and that's just to be able to ship to Canada, right, from wherever they're coming from. A lot of those imports.
Yeah.
But
well, here's a story about shipping to Canada. I'll continue. Like I said, my dad had a gun, like a 2.2 that my half brother had. He was younger than me. He was the same age as my son, though, and my youngest son. And anyway, back in the early 90s, Liz went back to England for a visit, and she took James with him, right? So he went. He's there at his granddad's, my dad, and he's out shooting at the garage, trying to get a few pigeons even off the garage roof, right? And he really loved it. So my dad went out and bought a gun for him to take home to Canada. The same gun, rifle, the rifle.
Yeah. And
Liz went ballistic. She said, I'm not taking that. So they took the scope off it, the sight off it, and and James, I mean, he was about 14 then, maybe less.
Yeah.
Listen, that about 12. So he comes home and he's got this scope, right? Because Liz wouldn't let him bring it. So I'm not doing that. So anyway, I was going over about 2 months later, and I said, tell you what, I'll bring over the gun for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I got it, and it was like in a cardboard box in that shape and everything. Yeah. So sealed it up, like I was staying at my sister's the night before. I said, have you got tape? So I sealed it all up. Get to the airport the following morning to check in, right? And have you got any bags? I got that on. I've got this.
Yeah.
What else have you got? I've got this rifle, and it's like, whoa, the girl at the desk goes, just carry on a sec, and she buzzes something. Right? And I'm like, and next thing you know, there's this big guy in plain clothes, this guy, and next to him like an officer, a uniformed officer, and they've both got their hands under the jackets, right? And they're going, believe you've got a gun, sir, a rifle. I went, yeah, I have. Right. What am I going to say? So they go, and I've never seen this before, right? And the girl opened the hatch, and we go through, past where your baggage goes, and there's like door, like a secret door, and they open the door, and they're telling me at the time to bring this gun with me, the brown cardboard box. I've got it. It's like, shaped, and there's just a table there in this room, and they're still stood there. These guys, they got like, said, put it. I don't know. They give me instructions. It on the table, sir. Oh, okay, right, okay. Right.
Wow.
And and you can feel the tension in this little room, like, and they go, and they gave me something to open it with. So I'm like putting through the tape, and I open it, and they're like, you can feel it. And
I almost would have handed the knife to them and say, "Here, look, I'm going to stand over there. You guys open it."
That's right. And they go, "Oh, it's only a 1, 2, 4. It's all right, Sid. It's okay. That's fine." Like, so he said, "It's got, that was it." They're having a laugh and joke, going, "No problem, but it has to go into the hold. It can't go in wherever." So I said, "Yeah." So I went through all this rigmarole, right, in Manchester to come back to Canada and bring this air rifle back, and. I thought I'm going to get the same hassle at the other end. Even on the little thing I put, it says, "Did you have any firearms?" I've got, air rifle, whatever. I thought I'm going to get pulled up with that. No one said anything. I'm stood in Pearson Airport and the thing, and I'm waiting for this box to come round, and it doesn't come round. I thought, oh, that's it. They've confiscated it, right? So, I thought, I'll go and find out. I'll say somewhere, So I get my bags, and I'm walking through the exit, to declare or not declare the green and red. And there it is. It's leaning against the wall in baggage claim.
Yeah.
And there it is, the rifle just leaning against the wall.
Yeah.
I'm
so
like,
wow.
Did they give it to you? Did they give you a hard time? Like,
no, I just went straight through. I took
here you go, and that was it?
Yeah. This was 1994. It was like
okay, all right.
Yeah.
94. So wow,
But you know what? I think we got to wrap up. But there's more. I think there's more worth talking about, and it can be a.
Oh yeah.
It can be like I totally see both, especially George's point about the look of some of those airsoft, but Derek said it best. It's really about education and and safe gun handling and all that. So
it really is.
It only takes a couple of idiots to wreck it for everyone else too, right?
But see, a lot of the stuff that happens at the border is absolute stupidity as well. Like my brother's a collector, and he bought an old artillery shell from World War II off some guy in the U.S. Like, it was like probably 9 inches tall or something like that. And it's an empty shell. There's nothing in it. And even the bottom of it is drilled out where the primer or whatever is. Yeah. It's an empty shell, but it's something cool that somebody might want to collect and put on a shelf, right?
Yeah.
With all the other stuff they collect.
Yeah.
Well, oh my God. When it went to go through customs, the government contacted him and they confiscated it, and he had to go through all this crazy nonsense about what it is and why he bought it and all that. And he goes, it's a dud. It's not armed. It's an empty shell.
Yeah.
If they bored out the bottom,
well, they saw that because the whole primer, there's a giant hole in the bottom of this thing and it's empty, right?
Yeah.
You know what they did? They took it to the bomb squad and they fucking blew it up.
Yeah. There you go.
That's how mental these people are. They're just fucked.
I had a 303 shell that was like empty, and I had a leather strap, so I used to wear it like a neck chain when I was young and silly.
Yeah.
But it's very rock and roll sort of thing, right?
Where you see the bullet belts, the rock. A lot of the rock stars back in the 80s, the bullet belts.
Yeah, so I was actually traveling, and I had all my rock and roll gear with me, and I had anyway, I guess, Richard, we'll get you on again at some point because, man, those stories are
what would be great is if once all the restrictions are lifted, if we all get together for a drink, and because there's some stuff that I would talk to you about off air that I'm not sure due to certain things if I could really talk about on air, but I'd love to hear about some of the stories, like going to see Billy Idol and he had red hair and he's in a pub. It's like I would love to sit and have some drinks and share some stories like that. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, and definitely on the security side too, it'd be kind of cool. But so thanks for being on, and
that was great seeing you again.
It was great hearing the stories.
Well, you guys got a great thing going on here, and when I heard about the indie rock, I was like, that's awesome. Like,
we're getting a lot of reach now and stuff like that, and the shows are because we broadcast on Twitch now and YouTube.
Well, that's what it is.
Oh, right
I couldn't remember the name of it. Twitch.
Yeah. So we're on a lot of different, and we're going to expand that even more. It's interesting. I've got a few friends that watch the show religiously every week, and I'm like, why don't you comment on it, right? And
say something.
Yeah, so we actually wind up getting. We've averaged, I think in the last month, almost like anywhere from 150 to 250 views. So when I close down the show and I look at how many people have watched it, I'm confused but like tonight actually was a slower night than normally because we get like hundreds of I shut down. We got over 200 comments, right? And then we got our Derek and Jeff and just the list goes on. Loyal supporters and really what the show is about. And Richard, you're on the supporter side of it as well. And
absolutely, it's a great show. Like every time I see it, it's getting better, and I can see this really going. And I'm like, this is awesome.
We're trying to, it's a little bit of growing pains, but we're experimenting, trying things out. But it's really like the viewers and with Indie Rock Radio, I mean, that's an awesome compliment. We have to actually kind of think now that they're listening and they're not viewing necessarily. So, and the reason like indie rock radio is licensed, right? In terms of being able to play tunes. So that's going to give us a really cool opportunity to do some things like where George can actually do some virtual DJing and stuff like that right from his home, right?
Well, right on.
But we are going to convene at when it's safe to do so. We'll still do the stream, but we might actually, I have a studio, so we might actually kind of fit that out to do the show and stuff like that.
Yeah. I was wondering, once the pandemic's lifted, are you guys gonna go back to like a studio in person setting and have guests in?
That's what we would like to do. So we're all in the same room, and it's more personable, right?
Yeah, that would definitely change the dynamic even more too. Have everyone in the same room.
Yeah. I'm like a huge Joe Rogan fan, and
absolutely, he's great.
He's got that, like you'll have like say 3 to maybe max 4 people in the room, and it's kind of an intimate, comfortable setting, and I like that because like this has actually been great for us because when we were with the other radio station, it was all audio. We were the trendsetters over there that decided, okay, let's see if we can sort of open up a Facebook Live while we're doing the
audio, right?
Stuff, right? Yeah, the audio. And it was a little choppy and quirky. And then when COVID hit, well, actually, what happened before that is we hired a guy to do like the stream out to
Facebook.
Facebook, yeah. So he used whatever software he used, but it cleaned it up, and we were actually not bad. And then other programs started to get the idea that they should be doing that too. So, but then when COVID hit, we came out of the studio and we did all this remotely, and it became very obvious to us that we need to live in social media, not just bound to audio.
Because the studio was now out of bounds, right? Nobody could go in the studio.
Right. Yeah.
So we're going, holy shit, how are we going to do the show? So, we had a taste into this, and we all banged our heads together and said, well, we have to try and continue to stream live, like on Facebook, YouTube, whatever's out there, because the studio is now closed. It's like there's no shows, right?
And we talked to Indie Rock Radio. Bling approached us about, I don't know, COVID's kind of like a time warp, but it maybe it has to be over a year now, like a year and a half or something. But and they were growing and stuff as well. So now, like, they've got a great production over there, and they've got like different hosts doing shows. Some of them are similar, like ours, like talk shows and that, like Cooper Talk, and there's this metal hour or a couple of hours with this guy out of Europe, and he just he DJs and does his chatting and all of that stuff, but it's really super heavy. Actually, Peter, you'd love it. But there's some great things happening, and I think they're taking advantage of technology and kind of moving forward with that. And all of this, when we came out, Heiko and I actually realized, I'm not sure Terry was on that night, but we kind of realized after it was kind of the like way back last spring when it was like almost that first lockdown or whatever. Because we were doing just a call in, I think, through Reality Radio. And then the comments that we got afterwards were very positive that, hey, we're stuck in our homes, and it was good to hear that, to enjoy something, I guess, other than binge watch Netflix. So
how many people have been doing that since the pandemic started?
Yeah, I know, eh?
So a light went off, and like Heiko said, he was on a thing for New Year's, and so was I. And what the light went off, and it's like, you know what? It's virtual, but we're socializing, right?
Yes.
And the biggest boost for us is really interacting with our viewers, fans, friends.
You guys get some awesome comments rolling through. Like when I've been on and just watching on a regular night and just seeing some of the comments people put in there, gotta laugh.
Yeah. And these people are a part of our show every week. And that's why we encourage it for new listeners to throw their comments in there as well. All the indie rock listeners from Montreal, please join us on Facebook. Be a part of our show. This is what it's all about. It's people getting together, asking questions, getting a laugh out of it, right?
Yeah, and I think though your point about like what are we going to do after COVID? We were doing this way before COVID, but but the audio video combination is like everybody has nowadays a podcast or they're doing Facebook Live, and it's a good thing because I think to deal with just the mental stress that COVID is imposed on everyone. It's good to kind of be able to reach out and communicate with other people and actually see a face, right?
Yeah.
So, it's all good. So we're gonna continue on and just bring it back to maybe a studio where we're all in one place, and hopefully that'll work. And then and like if I like George's kind of room so much that he may not want to leave that. He's got his archive. We'll just dial him in and like we do here.
Well, he's going to bring that disco light. You guys go back to the studio. He's going to take that light with him.
Yeah, he's going to have to set the whole studio up so we're all sitting in there.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I think he's in the Atomic Ballroom. We can't move the Atomic Ballroom to
too dangerous. No,
it's too dangerous. There's things that could, he's got tripwires on things. So you know what, guys? I think we're going to wrap up. But Richard, if you want to, I'll put you in the green room if you want to hang on for 2 minutes.
We can chat after the show or something.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. We'll chit chat real quick and then wrap it up. And then so our friends out in Indie Rock Radio in Montreal and the Globe, thanks for listening in, and we'll see you guys next week. And send us an email at info@heikadelic.com if you want to reach out. Yeah, or watch us live on Facebook next week, and you can throw your comments right up on the screen like everybody else. It'd be a great time hearing from you. Twitchers out there, let's not forget about Twitch, because we're streaming out there now. So but everybody that's on, thanks for being on, and we'll see you all next week. And we want to throw something back out to our sponsors. If anybody's got the hunger happening, you guys go to Country Stop Burgers at Ballantree. Danny's got the most amazing food out there. If you're looking for entertainment, you want to go ice fishing, call up Mitchell's Fish Huts. They're on Lake Simcoe in Ontario. Oh my God, you won't be sorry. Great place to go. If you're looking for a magic show or magician for your next party, probably have to be virtual, but there's like beyond the wand. And then we also have if you want a cuddle buddy, you can. That's just wrong. Tag Ringo's site, and you can just hit me up on that one. Offering that out to women and select gentlemen, of course, but cuddle buddy services. And then what else is that's just bad. Well, it's a thing, apparently. If you need your car detailed, you know who to go to for that, right? Yes, George. Downforce Detailing, Valencia Road. Yeah. Yeah. And then there's Churchill's Fish and Chips, which I haven't got an ad up for yet, but we'll get to it. And they are in Oshawa off of Ritson, right next to our favorite bar, Richard.
Yes.
Yes.
I've had the food from there. Amazing.
Yeah, they got the best fish on the planet, I think. So
I want to thank our fans that were part of our show tonight. We want to thank Keisha, Richard, Stephanie, Brad from Mitchell's Fish Huts, Derek, Phil, Peter. You guys are all awesome. We love having you on every week. We'd like more of you to join in. So please feel free. Join us again next Monday night at 9:30 when we get good and dirty. And we'll be on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch. What else are we on? We're on all kinds of stuff, aren't we?
We're all over the place, yeah.
Yeah. And throw in your comments, be a part of the show. We'd love to hear you. So until then, guys, next Monday night, 9:30, we'll see you then. Thanks for joining.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Heikadelic Show is signing off one more time.
One more time. We'll see you next week.
All right.
You better subscribe to Pine Tree Line Outdoors, and here's why. Have a look. It's been an incredible time. Aubrey Falls. Why are we here? What is this abomination behind us? Okay.
Hey, this is Spiffy Vengeance, and I'm reporting for the Heikadelic Show. In behind me, you can see the world's going on as we speak. It's amazing. It's a light show. It's over the Pickering Darlington nuke plant, but we're not sure what's going on. We think it's aliens, because if you watch, we've been watching this for almost an hour now, and the light show is incredible. What we thought was just a storm appears to be possibly alien invading the Durham region. This is Stiffy Vengeance, and I am going to try and stay awake and watch the show behind me, and hopefully I won't get probed. See you on the Heikadelic Show Monday night.
So yeah, those Halloween haunt guys are really something, aren't they? I like the video, and they're kind of scary. But I hope to see them again, maybe live next time. But I am going to check out their socials and look them up on Facebook for sure. And I'm going to like them because I like them. See you next time. Well, that's another wrap for the Heikadelic Show, folks, so time to get dirty. And don't forget, listen in next week on Monday night and every Monday after that for the Heikadelic Show at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like more information on the Heikadelic Show, please find us at www.theheikedelicshow.com or .ca. We'll see you all next week on the Heikadelic Show. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor for the Heikadelic Show, it's easy. Just send us an email at info@theheikedelicshow.com. Meanwhile, you can browse our website at www.theheikedelicshow.com or .ca. Click on our sponsor tab and find out more information on sponsorships. Thanks for joining the Heikadelic Show, fans.